In the battle for the women's vote, a prominent former news anchor is getting attention for taking President Obama to task over a campaign theme she claims she is knocking as an overused cliche. Campbell Brown even calling the strategy condescending to women, writing in a New York Times op-ed, quote, "The promise of his campaign 4 years ago has given way to something else, a failure to connect with tens of millions of Americans, many of them women, who feel economic opportunity is gone and are losing hope. In an effort to win them back, Mr. Obama is trying too hard. He's employing a tone that can come across as grating and even condescending. He really ought to drop it. Most women don't want to be patted on the head or treated as wards of the state." Dee Benke is a GOP strategist and former aide to President George H.W. Bush. Marjorie Clifton is Democratic strategist and the principal of Clifton Consulting. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dee, what do you make of this op-ed? Has the president gone too far?
I think Campbell Brown has got it exactly right. I am so sick of hearing this rhetoric about women having a seat at the table and being there, and you can do it. And, you know, when President Obama said, hey, you're smarter than we are, I mean, come on. If you have to say it, it sounds like you don't think it. And also, as far as the seat at the table, why don't we own the seats and own the building in it? Or own the building that the table is in and the seats are in? I mean, this is just wrong. And you know what? We're Americans, and what women want? We want jobs. And we want a strong economy and a strong country. We don't want to be talked to like we're second-class citizens. It's not right, and that's exactly where he has gone. And Campbell Brown, she hit the nail on the head big time.
And Campbell Brown makes a reference to this Life of Julia character that the administration came up with that talks about different ways in which the government impacts a young woman's life and all throughout her life, from Head Start all the way, you know, through child care and all kinds of things through her entire life. Do you think that was a good strategy? Do you think the administration is going to stand behind that? I mean, Campbell Brown calls it, quote, silly and embarrassing.
Well, I think that what they're speaking to are concerns that everyone has when politicians are speaking. I mean, I'm always reticent when anyone's in campaign season, and we're seeing both Republicans and Democrats campaigning hard for women, and smartly so, because we constitute a big part of the vote. And I think the Obama campaign strategy has been one about focus on women, and it's been at an interesting time. There's been a lot of policies that have come to head, and we've got special interest groups and women across the country who really have been calling for focus on policies that are related to women. I completely agree that what women care about is the economy, and that's what we're seeing in all the polling related to women and to men. But I think what the Obama administration is talking about a lot in terms of the economy, so for example, the Paycheck Fairness Act, it's absolutely related to economy, it's absolutely related to women, because it's about giving women giving them legal cover for pursuing fair paychecks.
I mean, but that's different, Marjorie, than Julia. I mean, this was so insulting. I mean, why wasn't it Slacker Jack? If it had been Jack who had to be helped throughout his entire life by the government, it would have looked like he was the slacker instead of and Julia, that she could not handle it. You know what? That is very insulting for the government to have to be involved to help Julia throughout her entire life.
And Marjorie, where do you draw the line? I mean, what is an appropriate line to draw here, especially in trying to appeal to this group of voters to say, we do want to help you, but we don't want to control your whole life?
Sure. Well, I hear the concern. There are a lot of women everywhere who feel like they don't like to be singled out as a special interest group. They don't want to be talked about it as a women problem. And the challenge is there's a reality gap. And while I would be the first one, because I do all of my work and most of my work with women, to say that we don't have to have this conversation about equality, the reality is that women are still only 3% of CEOs of companies, that women still are, you're seeing the paycheck gap. We're making 77 cents to the dollar to men. If you're a Hispanic woman, you're making 52 cents. So it's a conversation, for better or for worse, that we need to have.
Well, Dee, there was quite a gender gap the last time around. Is Mitt Romney going to be able to close that?
Well, the thing about Mitt Romney is he talks about women like Americans. You know, he doesn't separate. He doesn't make a separate but equal argument. I mean, it is so ridiculous, and that rhetoric is just wrong, and it doesn't help anyone. Mitt Romney is very respectful to his wife. He's featured her over and over again, takes her advice, and I love that about Ann Romney. I love that about Mitt Romney, and that he's pro-economy, he's pro-jobs, he's anti-DC, and he's respectful to women. So, yes, I think he's going to do very well with women.
I think one of the important things that Obama is highlighting in terms of policies is how we do need, as women and as men, policies that cover us to allow us to improve the economy. So, you know, what he talks about is, for example, within the health care bill. Not a perfect bill, but one aspect of it would give men and women...
Let's go back to jobs, Marjorie. Because Mitt Romney has created jobs, and with the Obama administration, 3.5 years of total epic failure when it comes to the economy. I mean, we know what he's all about, good community organizer, but he cannot do a good job with the economy. It just is what it is.
Marjorie, how much danger is there in this administration being viewed as being too paternalistic? I mean, you mentioned the health care law and some other things where they're trying to, address policies that are directed at female voters, which they, won handily last time. But is there a line between seeming too paternalistic?
Sure. I mean, this is, again, the quintessential debate between Republicans and Democrats about how much does the government get involved. And I think that there are some basic necessities in order to improve the economy. And for many, that's health care coverage and access to health care. And for many, it's, having that insurance coverage up to the age of 27 when a lot of our young people are unemployed so that they still have insurance. Or the Paycheck Fairness Act as of making sure that women and men are being paid equally in their jobs.
Let's talk about Obamacare, because it's destroying small businesses. They can't afford it. They can't deal with it. And, it's funny how during the anniversary that the Obama administration doesn't even mention it.
Let's have Marjorie finish her thought. Finish her thought, Marjorie.
So I will say one other thing, and I agree that I love that Romney is just so respectful of his wife. And one of the things I do see as a strong suit of the Obamas as well is the fact that President Obama is a father, and he has 2 daughters. And I know in my own family where these are issues that maybe my father wouldn't be otherwise focused on because of having these 2 daughters, me and my sister, he is very much out there talking about that women need to be in leadership and really encouraging and pushing. And so, I mean, you can see it as paternalistic or you can see it as giving us the boost that unfortunately we do need in the economy, and I think that that's what the policies are focused on.
He's a great dad and a husband, but that's not the point. The point is the economy's in the tank and he's responsible for it, and women want jobs and they want to be able to have a great success story like all Americans. Yeah, and unfortunately Barack Obama's not been able to deliver.
All right, Dee Benke and Marjorie Clifton, we thank you both for a spirited debate on this. Not over yet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, she saw battle and some key moments